You know that feeling when your phone buzzes at 3 a.m. and your heart just drops? That cold sweat that runs down your spine because you know something is terribly wrong? That's exactly what happened to me 3 months ago. I was lying in bed, finally getting some rest after a long day at the office. My phone lit up the darkness of my room. It was a text from Richard, my lawyer. Richard never texted me this late. Never. The message was simple but terrifying. Call me now. Urgent. About Emily. Emily, my daughter, my only child. The girl I raised alone after her mother passed away when she was just 7 years old. The daughter I worked 3 jobs for so she could go to the best schools. The daughter I gave everything to. My hands were shaking as I dialed Richard's number. He picked up on the first ring. "Thank God you called," Richard said, his voice tight with urgency. "We need to talk. Right now. It's about Emily, and you're not going to believe what I'm about to tell you." I sat up in bed, my mind racing through 1,000 horrible possibilities. Was she hurt? Was she in trouble? Had something happened to her? "Richard, you're scaring me. What's going on?" There was a pause. A long, heavy pause that made my stomach twist into knots. "Your daughter is planning to take everything from you, and I mean everything. Your business, your house, your savings. She's been working with someone to declare you mentally incompetent. They're planning to get full power of attorney and control over all your assets." The words hit me like a freight train. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't think. This had to be some kind of mistake. Some horrible, sick joke. "That's impossible," I whispered. "Emily would never. She's my daughter. She loves me." "I wish that were true," Richard said quietly. "But I have proof, documents, emails, text messages, and you need to see them before it's too late. Let me take you back a bit so you understand just how impossible this all seemed. My name is David. I'm 58 years old, and I built my life from absolutely nothing. When my wife Sarah died of cancer 15 years ago, I was broken, completely shattered. But I had Emily. She was only 7 and she needed me. So I pushed through the grief. I worked. I sacrificed. I built a small construction company from the ground up. It wasn't easy. There were nights I survived on coffee and 3 hours of sleep. There were times I had to choose between buying groceries or paying for Emily's piano lessons. I always chose Emily. Always. By the time she turned 18, my company was doing well. Really well. We had contracts all over the city. I had a nice house, savings in the bank, and for the first time in years, I could breathe easy. Emily got into a great college. I paid every penny of her tuition. When she graduated, I helped her get her first apartment. When she wanted to start her own marketing business, I gave her $50,000 to get started. No questions asked, no expectations of being paid back. She was my daughter, my pride and joy. Everything I did for her. But over the past year, things started to change. Slowly at first. So slowly that I didn't even notice until it was almost too late. Emily started visiting more often, which should have made me happy, right? But the visits felt different. She'd ask strange questions about my business, about my finances, about my will and my estate planning. She'd suggest I was working too hard, that maybe I should think about retiring early. "Dad, you're not getting any younger," she'd say with that concerned look on her face. "You should enjoy life. Let someone else handle the stress." I thought she was just being a caring daughter. I thought she was worried about my health. I was touched, actually. It felt good to have her care. But then came the doctor visits. Emily insisted I get a full checkup. She even scheduled the appointments herself. She came with me, sat in the waiting room, asked to speak with the doctor privately afterward. "Just making sure you're getting the best care, Dad," she'd say with a sweet smile. I trusted her completely. Why wouldn't I? She was my daughter. The morning after Richard's call, I drove to his office at 6 a.m. I hadn't slept, not even for a minute. My mind kept spinning, refusing to believe what he'd told me. Richard looked exhausted, too. He had dark circles under his eyes, and his usually neat desk was covered with papers and folders. "Sit down, David," he said gently. "This is going to be hard to hear." He opened a folder and spread documents across the desk. Emails, bank statements, legal papers, text messages printed out on white paper. "3 weeks ago, I got a strange call," Richard began. "A colleague of mine, a lawyer named Jennifer Chen, reached out because she was uncomfortable with something. She said a young woman named Emily had approached her firm asking about how to declare someone mentally incompetent, how to get power of attorney without the person knowing, how to transfer assets quietly." My blood ran cold. Jennifer was suspicious because the young woman seemed perfectly calm, perfectly calculated. She wasn't acting like someone worried about a sick parent. She was acting like someone planning a takeover. So Jennifer did some digging and found out Emily's father was you, my client. She called me immediately. Richard slid a stack of printed emails toward me. "These are from Emily's email account. Jennifer managed to get copies through, let's say, legal channels. Read them." My hands were shaking as I picked up the first page. It was an email from Emily to someone named Marcus. "Marcus, everything is going according to plan. I've convinced Dad to see Dr. Patterson 3 times now. Patterson is willing to write a report saying Dad is showing signs of early dementia and confusion. With that medical documentation, we can move forward with the incompetency filing. Once we have power of attorney, we transfer everything, the house, the business, all of it. He won't even know what hit him." I felt sick, physically sick. I had to put the paper down and take deep breaths. "Who is Marcus?" I managed to ask. Richard's face darkened. "That's the worst part. Marcus is Emily's boyfriend. He's 35 years old, has no real job, and has a criminal record. Fraud, embezzlement. He did 3 years in prison. Emily's been with him for almost 2 years, and she never told you." 2 years. My daughter had a boyfriend for 2 years. And I knew nothing about it. More than that, she was planning to steal everything from me, to destroy me, with him. Richard showed me more documents. A fake medical report that Dr. Patterson had prepared, stating I was mentally declining and unable to manage my own affairs. Legal papers ready to be filed to declare me incompetent. Bank transfer documents with Emily's name as the recipient. Everything was ready. They were just waiting for the right moment to strike. "When were they planning to do this?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "According to the emails, next week. They were going to have you declared incompetent, get emergency power of attorney, and start transferring assets within 48 hours. By the time you realized what was happening, it would be too late to stop them." I sat there in Richard's office, staring at these papers, and I felt something inside me break. This was my daughter, the little girl I raised, the child I gave up everything for, and she was trying to destroy me. Richard gave me coffee, but I couldn't drink it. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. "There's more," Richard said quietly, "and you need to hear all of it." He showed me text messages between Emily and Marcus, conversations that made my blood boil. "Once we get the money, we're out of here. Caribbean, maybe? Somewhere Dad can't find us. He'll be stuck in some cheap nursing home and we'll be living the good life. He's old anyway. What's he gonna do with all that money?" Another message from Emily. "I've played the loving daughter long enough. I'm so tired of pretending to care. Every time he tells one of his boring stories about building the business or sacrificing for me, I want to scream. He's so pathetic, so desperate for my approval. It's embarrassing." Each word was like a knife to my heart. This wasn't just about money. This was pure hatred, pure contempt. My daughter despised me, and I never saw it. Richard pulled out another document. They also have a backup plan. If the incompetency route doesn't work, they're prepared to fabricate allegations of abuse. They have a script written out for Emily to tell authorities that you've been emotionally and financially abusive for years. They've got fake evidence prepared. Photos with timestamps, fake journal entries, even coached witnesses. I looked up at Richard in horror. They would destroy my reputation, my business, everything I've built? Yes. They don't care what happens to you, David. They just want your money, and they're willing to do absolutely anything to get it. My mind was reeling. How had I been so blind? How had I not seen this coming? But then I started thinking back. All those doctor visits Emily insisted on, all those questions about my memory, asking if I'd been forgetting things. She'd even mentioned in front of family friends that she was worried about Dad's health lately. She was planting seeds, building a narrative, creating a story that I was declining, that I needed help, that she was the concerned daughter stepping in to save me. It was calculated, methodical, evil. "What do I do?" I asked Richard, feeling lost and broken. "She's my daughter. How do I fight my own daughter?" Richard leaned forward, his eyes serious. "You fight back. And you fight smart. Because if you don't, you'll lose everything, and they'll get away with it." Over the next week, Richard and I put together a plan. A careful, detailed, absolutely bulletproof plan. First, we documented everything. Every email, every text message, every piece of evidence that showed Emily's true intentions. Richard worked with Jennifer Chen, and together they built a legal case that was rock solid. Second, we set up a trap. We needed Emily and Marcus to incriminate themselves even further. We needed them to make their move so we could catch them red-handed. I continued acting normal around Emily. It was the hardest thing I've ever done. Pretending I didn't know, pretending I still trusted her. Every time she called, every time she visited, I wanted to scream at her, to demand answers, to ask her why. But I didn't. I stayed calm. I played along. "Hey, sweetie," I'd say when she called. "How are you doing?" "Good, Dad. I'm just checking in on you, making sure you're okay. You've seemed a little forgetful lately." There it was again, the subtle suggestion, the planted seed. "Oh, I'm fine, honey. Just tired from work." "Maybe you should see Dr. Patterson again, just to be safe." "Maybe you're right. I'll think about it." She thought she was winning. She thought I was falling right into her trap. But I was building my own trap, and it was about to snap shut. Richard arranged for a private investigator to follow Emily and Marcus. We needed more evidence, more proof of what they were planning. The PI, a sharp woman named Detective Morrison, got us everything we needed. Photos of Emily and Marcus at expensive restaurants, spending money she claimed she didn't have. Videos of them laughing and celebrating the big score at a bar. Recorded conversations where they discussed in detail how they'd spend my money once they had it. "First thing I'm buying is a Porsche," Marcus said in one recording. "Your old man owes me that much for putting up with his boring dinner conversations." Emily laughed. "And I'm buying a beach house, somewhere far away from him. I never want to see his face again once this is done." Every piece of evidence made my heart break a little more. But it also made me stronger, more determined. We also had a forensic accountant review all my finances. We made sure everything was documented, every asset accounted for, every transaction recorded. If Emily tried to claim I was incompetent or mismanaging money, we'd have proof that I was perfectly capable and completely in control. Richard prepared a restraining order, ready to file the moment Emily made her move. We had papers drawn up to remove her from any beneficiary lists, from my will, from everything. "When this is over," Richard told me, "she'll have nothing, no access, no claim, no relationship with you. Are you sure you want to do this?" I looked at him, and for the first time in a week, I felt certain. She made her choice. Now I'm making mine. It was a Tuesday afternoon when Emily called. Dad, we need to talk. Can I come over tonight? This was it. This was the moment they'd been planning. I could hear it in her voice. The false sweetness, the fake concern. Of course, sweetheart. Come by around 7. I hung up and immediately called Richard. It's happening. Tonight. Richard and I had prepared for this. We had cameras set up in my house, recording everything. We had Richard hiding in my home office, listening to every word. We even had Detective Morrison parked outside, ready to intervene if things got dangerous. At 7 p.m. sharp, Emily arrived. She wasn't alone. Marcus was with her. Dad, this is Marcus, Emily said, introducing him for the first time ever. My boyfriend. I thought it was time you two met. Marcus shook my hand, his smile smug and confident. He had no idea what was about to happen. They sat down in my living room. Emily was carrying a folder, the same folder, I realized, that contained the fake medical reports and power of attorney documents. Dad, we're really worried about you, Emily began, her voice dripping with false concern. You've been so forgetful lately, so confused. We think it's time we help you manage things. For your own good. Help me manage things, I repeated slowly. Yes, your finances, your business, everything. You're just getting older and it's too much stress for you. We want to take care of you. Marcus leaned forward. We've already spoken to some doctors and lawyers. We think it's best if Emily handles your affairs from now on. Just temporarily, of course. Until you're feeling better. I looked at them both. My daughter and her criminal boyfriend. Sitting in my living room, trying to rob me, trying to destroy me, and they actually thought I was going to go along with it. I stood up slowly. Emily and Marcus looked at each other, confused by my movement. You know what's interesting? I said, my voice calm but cold. I've been doing some research, too, about you, Marcus, about your criminal record, about the 3 years you spent in prison for fraud and embezzlement. That's quite a history you have there. Marcus's face went pale. Emily's eyes widened. And Emily, I continued, looking at my daughter, I've also learned a lot about your plans, your emails, your text messages, your conversations with lawyers about how to declare me incompetent, how to take everything from me. Emily stood up quickly. Dad, I don't know what you're talking about. Don't lie to me! My voice cracked with emotion. I've seen everything. Every email, every message, every piece of your disgusting plan. Richard walked out from the home office, holding a thick folder. Hello, Emily. Marcus. I'm David's attorney, and I have to say your plan was pretty elaborate. Too bad it was also completely illegal. Marcus jumped to his feet. This is insane. We're leaving. No, you're not, I said firmly. You're going to sit down and listen to everything I have to say. Because this ends tonight. I opened my own folder and started pulling out documents. Printed emails, text messages, photos, bank records. This is you, Emily, writing to Marcus about how I'm pathetic and embarrassing. This is you discussing how to put me in a nursing home once you've stolen my money. This is you laughing about my boring stories and how desperate I am for your approval. Tears were running down my face, but my voice stayed steady. This is you planning to destroy your own father, the man who raised you alone, the man who worked 3 jobs so you could have a good life, the man who gave you everything. Emily's face crumbled. But it wasn't guilt I saw there. It was anger, rage at being caught. You don't understand, she screamed. You think you're such a great father? You were never there. You were always working. You missed my school plays, my graduations, everything. You chose your stupid business over me every single time. Her words hung in the air like poison. I worked those jobs for you, I said quietly. Every hour, every sacrifice. It was all for you, so you could have opportunities I never had, so you could build a better life. I didn't ask you to, Emily shouted. I didn't ask to be your project, your charity case. I'm tired of feeling like I owe you something just because you did what you were supposed to do as a parent. You're right, I said, my voice breaking. You don't owe me anything, but you don't get to steal from me either. You don't get to destroy me because you're angry about choices I made to provide for you. Richard stepped forward. Emily, Marcus, you're both being served with legal papers. Emily, you're being removed from any claim to David's estate, his business, and his property. You're also being reported to the authorities for attempted fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. Marcus, given your criminal record, you're looking at serious jail time. Detective Morrison walked in from outside. I'm Detective Morrison. I've been documenting everything, and I have enough evidence to press charges against both of you. The room went silent. Emily collapsed onto the couch, crying. Marcus looked like he wanted to run, but knew he couldn't. Dad, please, Emily whispered. Please don't do this. I looked at her, my daughter, my only child, and felt absolutely nothing but sadness. You already did this, Emily. You made your choice. Now you live with the consequences. The next few weeks were a blur. Emily and Marcus were arrested and charged with multiple counts of fraud and attempted theft. The evidence was overwhelming. They both took plea deals to avoid trial. Marcus went back to prison for 5 years. Emily received 3 years probation and was ordered to pay restitution, though she had no money to pay with. My business stayed intact. My assets stayed protected. Richard had made sure of that. But something else was gone. My relationship with my daughter, my family, my reason for building everything in the first place. The house felt empty now, silent. I'd walk past Emily's old bedroom and remember teaching her to ride a bike, reading her bedtime stories, helping her with homework at the kitchen table. Where did I go wrong? That's the question that kept me up at night. Was she right? Had I been absent? Had I sacrificed our relationship for financial security? Maybe. Maybe I had worked too much. Maybe I had missed important moments. But I had done it all for love, for her future, for her opportunities. And she had repaid me with betrayal. 3 months after everything happened, I received a letter. It was from Emily. The prison had forwarded it to Richard, who brought it to me. I stared at the envelope for a long time before opening it. Inside was a single page, handwritten. Dad, I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to read this, but I need to say it anyway. I was wrong. I was so wrong. Marcus manipulated me, convinced me that you were the enemy, that taking your money was justified because of all the times you weren't there. But the truth is, I was just angry. Angry at life. Angry at losing Mom. Angry at having to be grateful for things other kids just had. That anger twisted into something ugly. Something evil. I destroyed the one person who truly loved me. And I have to live with that for the rest of my life. I'm sorry, Dad. I'm so sorry. Even though I know sorry will never be enough. Emily. I read the letter 3 times. Then I folded it carefully and put it in my desk drawer. Did I forgive her? I don't know. Maybe someday. Maybe never. So what's the lesson in all this? What's the point of sharing such a painful personal story? Here's what I learned. Love isn't always enough. You can give someone everything, sacrifice everything, do everything right. And they can still hurt you, still betray you, because people make their own choices. And sometimes those choices break your heart. But here's what else I learned. You have to protect yourself, even from the people you love, especially from the people you love, because blind trust can destroy you. I don't regret stopping Emily's plan. I don't regret exposing her betrayal and protecting my life's work. What I do regret is not seeing the signs sooner, not having honest conversations about her feelings and resentments before they grew into something monstrous. Communication matters. Honesty matters, even when it's uncomfortable, even when it's painful. If you're a parent watching this, talk to your kids. Really talk to them. Not just about grades and careers, but about feelings, about resentment, about expectations. Don't let silence and assumptions build walls between you. And if you're someone who feels overlooked or underappreciated by a parent who worked hard to provide for you, please understand this. Sacrifice is an act of love. Even if it doesn't feel like the love you wanted, even if it means they missed some moments. They were trying their best with what they knew. Talk to them. Tell them how you feel. Don't let anger turn into a plan for destruction. As for me, I'm rebuilding. Slowly. My business is stronger than ever. I've started a scholarship fund in my late wife Sarah's name, helping kids from struggling families go to college. It feels right. Like I'm honoring what I tried to do for Emily, even if it didn't turn out the way I hoped. Do I still love my daughter? Yes, painfully, heartbreakingly, yes. Do I trust her? No. And maybe I never will again. But I'm learning to live with that, to accept that some relationships end, some betrayals can't be undone, some broken things can't be fixed, and that's okay. Because I'm still here. I'm still standing. I protected myself. I fought back. And I survived. 3 months ago, I received a text that changed my life. Call me now, about Emily. That text saved me from losing everything. But it also cost me my daughter. Was it worth it? I think about that every day. The answer is yes. Because protecting yourself isn't selfish. Standing up for yourself isn't cruel, and refusing to be destroyed, even by someone you love, isn't wrong. It's survival, it's justice, it's self-respect. So if you're facing betrayal from someone close to you, if you're watching your life's work being threatened, if you're being manipulated and gaslit by people who claim to love you, fight back. Document everything. Get legal help. Trust your instincts, and don't let guilt or love or obligation stop you from protecting yourself. Because at the end of the day, you have to live with yourself. You have to face yourself in the mirror, and you deserve to do that with dignity, with security, and with peace. That's my story. That's my lesson. That's my message to anyone who needs to hear it. Protect yourself, even when it hurts. Especially when it hurts. Because sometimes, the people who are supposed to love you the most are the ones planning to take everything from you, and you deserve better than that. You deserve so much better.